All right, we're about to dive into a legal case that has it all. A bitter family dispute, a police interrogation, and a suspect who, well, is a parrot. Yep, you heard me. This is the incredible and totally true story of the case of the abusive parrot.
So it begs the question, a question you've probably never even thought to ask. Can a bird actually be a criminal? It sounds ridiculous, right? But it's the real question at the very heart of this story. It's about what happens when the legal system has to deal with something truly bizarre. And I'm not making this up. This really happened. In Maharashtra, India, police brought a parrot, whose name was Harial, down to the local police station. Not because he was lost, oh no. He was brought in because he was the prime suspect in an official criminal complaint. Okay, so how on earth does a parrot end up in police custody? Let's back up a little and see how this all went down. Because while Harial the parrot is definitely the star of the show, the real drama here is, as it so often is, all too human. It all boils down to a nasty family feud. So, let's meet our cast of characters. First, you have the complainant. This is a woman who had simply reached her breaking point. She was so fed up that she went and filed an official police report, not against a person, but over the actions of a parrot. And who did she blame for this whole mess? Her very own stepson. The complaint she filed alleged that he had personally trained the parrot to be his little feathered mouthpiece, launching what amounted to a campaign of verbal harassment. And that brings us to our key witness, our main suspect, the very center of this entire storm, Harial the parrot. His testimony, or, well, his lack of testimony, was going to decide everything. So here's the core of the complaint. According to the official police report, the woman insisted this wasn't just random squawking. No, she alleged that Harial had been specifically coached to hurl insults and obscenities at her every single time she walked past her stepson's house. Now, with a formal complaint filed, the police had no choice but to act. And this led to what has to be one of the most unconventional interrogations in police history. You have to just imagine the scene at the police station. They bring Harial in. They present the parrot with the accusations made by the woman, and then they waited. They were literally trying to get the bird to repeat the alleged obscenities, right there, as evidence. They were waiting for a confession from a parrot. And the result of all this? Nothing. Complete and utter silence. Despite the police's best efforts, with the complainant watching on, Harial kept his beak shut. Not a single word, let alone an insult. With their star witness essentially pleading the fifth, the entire case just hit a brick wall. So with no confession and zero evidence, the police were completely stuck. The case had gone cold. This was the end of the line, legally speaking. Without any testimony from the parrot, the police couldn't prove the complaint was true. So they did the only thing they really could do. They handed Harial over to the local forest department, which basically meant setting him free. So while Harial flew off to start a new life, the human element of this story was just left hanging. The official case of the abusive parrot was closed, but the bitter family feud that started the whole thing, that likely continued, just with one less parrot involved. Which really leaves us with the final question, doesn't it? Was Harial some kind of feathered criminal? Or was he just a pawn in a family feud, whose silence turned out to be his greatest defense? You know, when you peel it all back, this case isn't really about a parrot. It just shows that when human conflicts get messy enough, we can drag anyone or anything right into the middle of it. And sometimes, the absolute strangest headlines are just hiding the most familiar human dramas.